Hello guys, today I'm going to talk about 3AC. I'm going to talk about what's going on with the 3AC, what initially happened, and what event led to 3AC bankruptcy. So 3AC is a prominent crypto fund invested in many crypto projects, protocols, and other tokens. They held a significant position. There was a more than $3 to $4 billion uh, hedge fund. They were managing a lot of money for many other projects, um, but still they went bankrupt. So basically, what happened? So 3AC initially started in 2012 and was trading currencies in forex market. Um, they did it for a while and then slowly shifted to crypto. And then in 2018, they completely shifted into cryptocurrencies and they were trading cryptocurrency full time. So um, they have invested in a lot of projects and meanwhile in last 4 5 years and actually took a lot of loan from many different lending platforms and other places, and they were doing good. If you see the filings in the British Virgin Island proceedings, basically this was a leaked document of 1100 pages. I went through it and I'm going to summarize it for you basically. So in second week of June, 3AC, there was a news around 3AC having troubles, and there are a lot of platforms which started margin call for them, but they were not replying. For example, on 15th June, there was a report that um BlockFi liquidated $400 million of 3AC loan. Now, again, still there was a lot of loss from the BlockFi, but Derivit also reported the same. Blockchain.com also did the same. BitMEX did liquidated at the same time. So there, Voyager, Celsius, all these Voyager doesn't have a lot of collateral, I guess. Genesis liquidated. Genesis actually demanded had a very big loan, more than $1 billion, and they have a more than $2 billion loan, but around 1 billion was collateralized, and another 1 billion is not. So also the market price went down significantly in the market. So these collaterals are also worth less now. For example, they have around $1.1 billion of Grayscale Trust shares, but now that currently is around $550 million. So I guess they were doing good. One of the major problem started when Terra Luna blew up. They have around $560 million position in Terra USD, which actually went to nothing when the Terra Luna blew up. Because of this, market actually went down because there was a lot of people in the problems. There was around $40 billion hole in the market because of Terra Luna fiasco. The market went down significantly. Because of this, 3AC also lost a lot of money, and they had a thesis called super cycle where they told or where they theorized that Bitcoin will have a super cycle in 2021 and move more gold more than 100,000 this year. And because of Terra Luna, and because of this, they had a long positions everywhere. Now, because Terra Luna blew up, they lost a lot of money. Because of that, market went down, and then they had a long positions everywhere, and that created a lot of trouble for them, and they were not able to recover from there. As you can see in the proceeding docs, if you want to read it, or I can you will see in this video that everybody, almost a lot of major lending platform gave them a lot of loan, and they were able to do a lot of business with them in previous years. For example, blockchain.com also filed affidavit, and they told they have an open loan agreement with the 3AC, and 3AC were able to did around a $4 billion business in the last 2 to 3 years. Basically, they were taking the loan, paying back. It was more than $4 billion. So let me give a little bit brief about what actually happened, and mostly some details into Deribit and blockchain.com's affidavit in the leaked document. So there was a lot of news going on in the June, and there was few Twitter claims. in which in those news, one of the major news was from the BlockFi. Genesis also Genesis also told that they have also liquidated a major counterparty. At the same time, Voicer also opened a press release, sent a press release where they demanded a $650 million loan from 3AC. There was a Twitter thread from Danny Yuan, who is the CEO of 8 Blocks Capital. He basically claimed that 3AC, they had a trading account with 3AC because they were trying to save fees, and 3AC took $1 million from their trading account and used it. And basically he claimed that simply they went long everywhere, and because of the market down, they were getting margin called and they ghosted everywhere, was not replying and not reachable. Because of all this news, everybody was afraid what's going on basically. But all this comes true when there was an investigation opened by Singapore authorities, Monetary Authority of Singapore. 3AC actually underreported the assets managed by them, which was claimed by MS, and they are currently investigating them. Derivate affidavit and details from the derivate affidavit. So 3AC owned around 17% of Derivate, which is a option trading platform. Um, and they had Deribit has a two type of agreement. Is one is loan liquidation account agreement, where they don't liquidate 3AC in case of margin call. They do it incrementally. On 11th June, Deribit claimed that 3AC breached agreement, and on 15th June, Deribit notified 3AC that it's in the process of fully liquidating the account and requests the payment of trading loss. And this, other than that, Deribit has an open loan agreement also, which open loan agreement 3AC to take loans at a very minimum interest rates, example 2.5% per year, from 3AC to use it in their own trading platform. So 3AC also had it, and there was around $37 million loss in that account, $42 million loss, $42 million loss in loan agreement, and $37 loss in negative asset based on their trading. So there was around $80 million loss for uh, Derivate. There is one interesting detail that Derivate was in touch with 3AC all the time, and 3AC when 3AC Derivate asked that are you do a status call with them. So Kyle, who is a co-founder of 3AC, replied that they were not able to do that, and they basically directed them to Solitaire LLC, who's representing 3AC to for all the questions. Similarly, blockchain.com has an open loan agreement with 3AC, and they gave a lot of money to 3AC. Blockchain.com also claimed that 3AC lied to them about these loan agreements. When there was a Luna blow up, 3AC blockchain.com asked 3AC that if they have any open position. 3AC claimed that they have a small position and around $200 million, and they basically put it to zero, and they still have around more than $2 billion in asset value, NAV, net asset value. If you asset value is when you calculate asset removing your. Blockchain.com also asked net asset value statement from 3AC that showed they have more than $2.3 billion in the net asset, but blockchain.com thinks it's not correct. It was not correct at that time. And when blockchain.com asked more questions, 3AC threatened them to not to do any business in the future and repay all the loans if they want to, basically. At the same time, Hodlnut, which is also a platform for lending platform, uh, they claim that 3AC asked for uh, loans to them. This was a last effort when they were getting margin called everywhere. They actually tried to reach out a lot of people to get extra liquidity. For example, Hodlnut, where they tried to get loan at a higher interest rate for without uncollateralized loan, without providing collateral, and Hodlnut denied them. They also asked like 5,000 BTC from Genesis. Genesis also denied them at that time. uh, they also pitched at the last ditch effort. They have been pitching investors and other investment companies to for either selling their assets, illiquid assets. Example, they have shares in Deribit, Starkware, those options. Other than that, they have a large GBTC position. They also try to pitch a arbitrage trade between them. You can see this on your screen now. So they did ask, they knocked a lot of door, but the market positions was very bad, and there was all sorts of news, and they at that time. And even though this was initial at the 7th, around 7 June, but they, which when nothing, no news was broken, but the market was not right, and some businesses actually did some due diligence, and they didn't give uncollateralized loan, which might have saved them for at least in case of Hodalnut. Otherwise, they might also have big losses. So there was a large list of creditors, as you can see in the screen. Genesis gave them more than $2 billion loan, in which $1 billion loan is uncollateralized today. But as I understand, this is happened because the prices is now so much low, and 3AC now in bankrupt position. Otherwise, if at the time I believe the Genesis gave the loan, they have proper collateralization of these assets, but they, I don't know what's the arrangement there. But this happens again. Equity. There's another interesting. There's the equity first. If you remember from the last video, from the Celsius actually had a more than $500 million loan to a private lender, which was actually equity first, as reported in the media. That, and when in July 2021, when Equity First, when Celsius asked Equity First to give back their collaterals and pay back the loan, offer to pay back the loan, Equity First told they cannot pay back these collaterals, and they were paying, and they offered to pay them around more than $5 million per month as a payback. If you adjust the loan value, they still have more than $500 million loan to from Celsius, and that was one of the major reasons Celsius went bankrupt. Other than the other reason, you can watch this video here to learn more about it. Equity First actually gave loan around $90 million loans, 3AC, from October to 2021 to this year. Also, they gave in four parts. They have around currently, if you see their assets today at today's price, they still have around 60 million outstanding loan to 3AC. Voyager, as you know, like $650 million loan. Celsius lent $75 million to 3AC. Current outstanding loan is losses is 40 million. Moonbeam, which is a project I was checking in there, not just Moonbeam, the whole Polka Dot. There is a Pure Stake, which is another company. There is a Live Tree, which is another community. The same field was gave like millions of dollars to um, 3AC. Moonbeam itself gave around $30 million in different tokens to 3AC. And 3AC was managing a lot of projects treasury. That was also one big problem now, that we don't know how many projects whose treasury were managed by 3AC, and is that information is not even public. Another problem is that 3AC is not cooperating, and nobody knows the total assets, how much asset actually 3AC has. Now we see that there is a money getting transferred to private wallets by 3AC. There are Nansen, who is a crypto analytics firm, who reported that 3AC has more than $10 billion. And if you see these filings, you will file these. They have around $5 billion loan, but we don't. The main problem is that nobody knows the total assets of 3AC, where they are, which wallets hold them. That's one problem. Second, Zoo and 3AC themselves are not cooperating to the liquidators. Third, uh, they themselves are creditors in a British BVI court filing. They are themselves seeking around $65 million from this liquidation process. They bought a lot of assets. For example, that's one of the problems, that people don't know where they have deployed all these assets. They have bought a $50 million yacht. They bought around $49 million. Suzu bought $40 million bungalow in Singapore. His wife bought around $29 million bungalow in the Singapore also. Other than that, there are a lot of NFTs they own through different various accounts. For example, they have investment arm Defiance, which invested in many projects. Starry Night Capital, and another Twitter handle VVD, Vincent Van Gogh something, Vincent Van Gogh, and that also hold a lot of NFTs from 3AC. One of the major problem is people don't know how much asset they own. There's a liquidation process going on, and liquidators are in hurry. So there are three filings in three different places: New York, Singapore, and British Virgin Islands, and people trying to uh, complete this proceeding as soon as possible so they can get their share, and they might steal the much from their own fellow creditors. So these this is why everyone is in a hurry, and you see a lot of proceedings and case getting filed everywhere. So let me summarize the video. So one of the major reasons 3AC went bankrupt is they didn't manage the risk properly. The Terra Luna blew up very badly for them, and they were, I think, doing good and having a very good position. But Terra Luna and their own thesis for super cycle didn't materialize, and went everything that took everything into haywire, and that created a lot of trouble for them. And today 3AC bankrupt because of this. uh, I hope you learn more about 3AC fiasco from this video. I'll be creating more video. Please follow, like, and comment if you have any questions. If you want to understand anything other related to crypto news, for example, Terra Luna fiasco or anything else, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you.